I'm trying to keep
All
up.
right. Hey, everybody. I keep looking over this way to look at chat because it's too confusing on my phone. It's too small.
Yeah.
Hi, guys. Welcome. I am Tammy Decker. I am a quasi-blogger over at we3libras.com and a Young Living independent oils distributor. I'm also a mother of two. And this is my fabulous co-host.
Hi, I'm Jessica. Sorry, I was looking down. I was like, no, I totally am having a brain fart. I don't know. So my name is Jessica Enohosa, and I am also an independent Young Living distributor. I also am a daily scoper on Periscope. You can find me the same handle as on here on Blab at Jess42508, and Twitter and Instagram is the same. I also blog over at thedailieswithjess.blogspot.com, and I'm on Facebook at The Dailies with Jess. So those are all the ways that you can connect with me. I'm also a homeschooling mom of 3, and I have 2 autistic children. So yay! And our special guest tonight is Gina. Gina, if you want to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hey, y'all. I'm Gina. Even though it looks like Gina, we're going to call me Gina. It's Scandinavian, so that's why it's said differently. I am a mama of 2. I have a 19-year-old son and a 5-year-old girl. Started all over. No empty nest syndrome. None.
Wow.
I don't really recommend it. It's kind of difficult, but I love my baby girl. I am an RN. I'm not working right now because I fell off a porch at a patient's house and fractured my back, and I've had surgery, and they said I was disabled now.
Well, I'm glad that you are here with us.
Thank you. Yes. I'm so glad I can walk and talk.
Yes.
Oh, and I'm a unique makeup lady.
Yes, that's why your makeup's always looking on point. I'm sorry, Tammy.
Oh, it's cool. Do you have a website or a Facebook page you'd like to tell everybody about, Gina?
My Facebook page is kind of in works. It's Gina's Glitz and Glam because I quit doing it very well. I had surgery and everything went to Hades.
Well,
see, surgery does that to people. Yeah.
So I'll have to get back on it. But anyway.
I like the name.
Thank you.
Me too. Gina's Glitz and Glam.
Yeah.
It's totally it. Okay, so I want to welcome everybody tonight. We are the Topic Mamas, Jess and I. We created a group so that we could all come together and everyone could join in the conversation. And Jess just popped it right into the chat. Awesome, Jess. Thank you. I was just going to ask if you could That's our Facebook group. That's available to anybody. Men, women, you don't have to be a mom. It's only called Topic Mamas because Jess and I are mamas. I also want to give a disclaimer tonight that because of the topic we're going to be discussing, I want to make sure that you guys all realize that, well, only one of us is a medical professional, and that's Gina, and I'm not sure where she's at.
But she ain't your personal care provider.
There you go.
Yeah. So the information discussed tonight during our blab is our personal opinions and thoughts. And we do recommend that if you have questions, comments, or concerns, you do discuss them with your primary care physician.
We are not your primary care physician.
No.
Hey, I'm
tonight,
sorry, Tammy. I just wanted to let you know Grace is here. Gilbert, I think is his name. It's J.S. Gilbert's here. Melinda's here, October. And I saw Amy, Busy Boy Brigades is here. I was hoping she was going to come on.
Hey.
Wait, which way do I go? I don't know. I'm waving to you people. Hello.
Ooh.
Hello, Clarice.
Hey, Melinda, October. And everybody else that was already here.
Yes.
So tonight we want to talk to you guys about depression. And there are a whole bunch of different types of depression. So do you just want me to read the list of what the types are? And then we could talk about each one? Or just because I've never been diagnosed with the name of any of these. So I'll just list them and then we can No. Okay. Types of depression: major depression, persistent depressive disorder, bipolar disorder, seasonal affective disorder, my apologies, psychotic depression, postpartum, premenstrual dysphoric disorder, otherwise known as PMDD, situational depression, and atypical depression. It's normal to feel down once in a while and sad some of the time. But if you have any of the symptoms or any of the following, please, like we stated already, talk to your primary care physician.
Before we go any further, Gina, are you hearing Tammy clear? Because that was weird. I just want to make sure that we can hear her good.
Yeah, I heard her good.
Okay, because it was weird on my end. I don't know.
There was some kind of robot voice sometimes.
Yeah, I'm just making sure because I want to be able to hear Tammy. Weird. Hold on, I think you're good now, Tammy. I just want to make sure that we can hear. There you go, right there. Whatever you did is good. That way we can hear you. You heard some feedback too. Hey, Naomi. Yeah. So again, Tammy already gave us our disclosure, so we are not your primary care physician. So again, just remember that disclaimer that Tammy said.
Oh, and I'm so sorry to interrupt you.
No, go ahead.
We might say that there's potential trigger warnings for people out there who are already suffering from mental illness, or I hate to say suffering from, but anyway, who have mental illness. Some of the things we may discuss may trigger something within you. And so just know going in that we might say something that will set you off or cause you to start cutting or, any of those things make you go down a downward spiral. Okay, sorry.
No, go ahead.
All done. Okay, that's...
Jess, do you have the list of the symptoms?
I do have the list of the symptoms. You want me to go ahead and give those, or do we want to share stories first? You want me to go ahead and do that? Gina,
fine with me.
Yes, ma'am.
Good with that? All right. So really quickly, I'm going to run through, and these are just a list that I pulled according to the National Institute of Mental Health. So these are not something that I came up with. This is on the National Institute of Mental Health. So if you're experiencing any of these symptoms, you need to seek medical attention. Okay. So difficulty concentrating. So some of the following symptoms may include, I'll just say some because there's probably way more than what's listed right here on this list, right? Because they never do all of them, right? Difficulty concentrating, remembering details and making decisions, fatigue and decreased energy, feelings of guilt, worthlessness, and or helplessness, feeling of hopelessness and or pessimism, insomnia, early morning wakefulness or excessive sleeping, irritability, restfulness, loss of interest in activities or hobbies that were once pleasurable, and that can include sex, overeating or loss of appetite, persistent aches or pains, headaches, cramp, digestive problems that do not ease even with treatment, persistent sad, anxious, or feelings of emptiness, thoughts of suicide or suicide attempts. So those are all some of the symptoms. And that symptoms are significantly affected the quality of your life. Yes, as Amy stated right over there. Sorry, I was reading a comment. My bad. So those are some of the symptoms. So when we're talking about depression and these mental illnesses, this is kind of what we're discussing. So are kind of these symptoms and these occurrences within our life. So Gina, do you want to share your story or what you had?
Yeah. First, I wanted to say that I want everybody to get it in your minds and share it with everybody that mental illness is a real disease. It's just like hypertension. It's just like thyroid disorders, everything. It's a real life disease. It's a brain chemical imbalance in your brain. And people tend to make fun of others who have mental illness, and you don't hear them going around saying, oh, hey, she's got the hypertension. You better stay away from her. So hopefully, I'm hoping society as a whole will start treating mental illness as something better.
Me too.
Are you wanting me to tell my story or tell the suicides? Okay. Well, I'm going to tell my story real quick. I was abused horribly when I was in high school by a significant other. And when I was 16, 17 years old, he went into a violent rage and tore the house apart, throwing the couch and all kinds of stuff, and was wanting to kill me. And he threw a coffee cup at my head and it busted. He's like, I'm going to kill you, you be, you know what I'm saying? And who knows what you think, but I said, no, I'll just do it myself. And so I grabbed the shards of that coffee cup that was in front of me and I just shredded my arm. And thankfully, all that blood, I guess, made him quit being a psycho. And he took me to the ER and I got stitched up and put back together again. So that kind of falls into situational depression and anxiety, and even, it sounds kind of silly to say situational type suicide, but I was trying to escape that life event. I wanted to get out of it. I didn't know how to, and that was what I was going to do. And that's, either way, it would have been death, even if I wasn't really trying to kill myself to kill myself. And then, so I had a string of abusive relationships since then because, that's how I have to roll, I guess. Anyway, all that takes a toll on me. And I've been diagnosed with major depressive disorder. I have anxiety and PTSD. I don't have, I'm not suicidal. I am on medication. I have done lots of therapy throughout the years. I currently am not doing therapy because, well, I don't have insurance. And that's a lot of money. And so, but one of the best things you can do with depression and mental illness is to do the therapy along with the medication. Therapy's hard. It's really, really hard, but it really does help. And then I wanted my son, bless his heart, when the time I had my daughter, he was 14 years old, and going through his hormonal changes then, and then the fact that here I am bringing home a little girl, and it had been he and I forever and ever and ever. It's just us. And he started having some issues, and I thought, well, it's just hormones. It's okay. I knew he was down and out, but I didn't think it was too bad. I thought it was normal down and out. Well, he went to school one day, and it was a couple hours into the school day. I got a call from the school that I needed to get up there right away. I was like, oh my gosh, what has he done now? Because he was kind of getting in trouble some. And so I went up there, and there was the school counselor, there was the principals, everybody. I was like so scared because I didn't know what was going on. And they sat me down and told me that a girl came to them and told them that Alan, that's my son, had texted her the night before, and he wanted to kill himself. He had a plan, and he was going to implement it. And
yeah, I'm sure.
I feel you on that, Gina, because sadly and unfortunately, as I've shared with you guys before, my oldest son suffers from Asperger's. And the reason that we started homeschooling was because of bullying and things like that. And I had an 11-year-old, actually, I think he was 8 to now he's 12. I've had to have him psychiatrically evaluated 4 times because he threatened to kill himself. So I can imagine your pain. And that's at 11 to say that you hate life and it's not worth living. So that's something on a different level when your child says that they want to die. So I definitely understand. And I'm glad he's okay. And I'm glad that girl spoke out, because I know a lot of people are scared to do that.
And that's so important. And that's why I'm telling that part of his story, is because if anybody says, and some people can say it flippantly, oh, I'm going to shoot myself if I have to do this, or I'm going to, but when you've got somebody who's texting it or who's just saying it, whether it's a vague Facebook post, you've got to find out. You've got, I swear to you, that girl will forever be my angel. Forever. because he ended up spending
how is
10
he
days
doing
in a
now,
mental
Gina?
hospital because of it.
Yeah. Oh, damn.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Oh, my baby boy. He's doing really good now. He's he's all controlled. He was diagnosed as bipolar. He's controlled now. He's got a steady job. He's out of high school. He's 19 now. And
Oh, no.
he moved out of the nest. It was so sad.
Awesome.
But he's doing really
That's
good,
awesome.
and I'm really, really proud of him. So, yes. 3 things I wanted to say, to help people with mental illness, because it can be awkward and kind of, I don't know what to say. What if I say the wrong thing? What if I make them worse? What if? Or I'm sick of hearing about it. Can they not just have a good day? Can they not just suck it up? A lot of times, no. Dr. Will Perez, my son is 19. He was 14 at the time that all that mess happened.
No, you're okay.
See, I did that. I went squirrely. Anyway, when you can say people need to suck it up, quit being so dramatic or being so depressed, and you really can't. You would really love to be able to suck it up and move on with your life and be brought along. But 3 things to do is to listen. Just listen. Don't try to fix it. Don't try to step on their toes. Don't try to talk over them. Just listen. Sometimes they just need to vent. And I hate to generalize, but as women, we know we got to vent sometimes because, my gosh, our children can drive us to drinking. The second thing you need to do is love. Just love them. Love them as they are, Amen. Who they are, where they are. Stay in touch with them. It is hard. I do know it's hard. I've been on both sides of it, being the one who was too sad to move on, and then dealing with the person who was too sad to move on. And it is frustrating, but I guarantee you there is an extra jewel in your crown in heaven if you stay right on there and love everybody and treat them right and listen to them and let them know that they are important. If they know that they are important to somebody, maybe they won't slice their wrist for themselves. They'll do it for you. They'll not kill themselves for you. They don't think enough of themselves to really give a shit about themselves, And then acceptance. You just have to accept them. You can't fix their problems. Just love them where they are and how they,
Gina.
I
love them. And hopefully me and Tammy can get together. And if you'll send those to Tammy, or it doesn't matter. Me and Tammy can come together and put those in a graphic or something, put them up on the page, because I really like those a lot. I think those are wonderful. I
have to say, I did get them off of, Rick Warren. His son committed suicide. That Pastor Rick Warren. And they're doing a mental illness hope thing in a few days.
That's awesome.
And that was some of the things that they listed.
Great information
on their site.
All right, Tammy, you want to go ahead so I don't over talk you?
Thank you.
We have this. We need like cards to hang up. Okay. Well, I'll just hang my pencil when I want to say something. You know what I mean? We talk at the same time. It's so funny. It always happens. Like we're both like,
great minds think alike.
They do.
Sure, I'll go first. I actually have had situational depression. I did not get hit with postpartum depression, but afterwards, like many to years afterwards, I did have bouts of situational depression. I have been taking medication to kind of keep my balances balanced because of the type of depression that I do suffer from.
Right.
So it's hard because you don't want to admit it to yourself as well as to others that there might be something wrong.
Right.
And I agree with Gina. You definitely want to talk to your primary care physician because you can obviously feel that there's something wrong. And they're the best person to talk to when you feel that way because they'll tell you whether or not you have to potentially go see somewhere else or whether or not they can help you. So either way, primary care physician. hands down.
Gina's waving her hand. Oh, she's
I'm
wanting you to
sorry,
hit your mic,
but I
Tammy.
think can you adjust your mic a little bit?
How? What? I don't.
Tammy.
There you go. See, when you have it up like
Sorry.
that, it's like when it's down on you, it creates like
Don't
this
move.
echo. I don't know if it's because it's getting close. Bless your heart, Tammy.
We could
I
hear
mean,
you. We could hear you.
Laptop
promise, we can hear
or my
you.
microphone.
But remember, on the recording, it comes out fine. So at least that's
true.
good.
But we want to hear me during too.
Well, no, yeah, for sure.
It's all I'm sorry, guys. I didn't mean to sound like a robot.
No, you're good. I mean, I could hear you. I just, it was reverberating out. So it's like, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Tammy.
Oh no, I just, if you do have unsettling feelings like something's wrong, you have like an overwhelming sadness, definitely talk to someone. Talk to your friend. I know there was something mentioned today in Stephanie. We had Stephanie on with us a few weeks ago. She's doing the Love Me Challenge. And today she talked about communication.
Yeah.
You need to have that one person that you can go to and share things with, and that'll be the person that you at least would feel comfortable enough to share with them how you're feeling about things, that something's not right. So speak to your friends, speak to your loved ones, speak to your primary care physician.
Right. And we all need to start handling ourselves in a better way, right? And coming at each other with the no judgment attitude, right? Because I think that's why a lot of people tend to close themselves off and keep away from people instead of reaching out for help because they feel like they're going to be judged. I'm not going to get too much into it. I'm sorry, what?
Can you see Gina? I see audio only.
No, I see her.
Oh, okay.
It might
Maybe it's me. Sorry.
No, you're okay.
Tammy.
So I think I'm not going to go very much into it because, it is what it is. But I do believe I'll say I'm a Christ follower. That's what I am. And I really believe wholeheartedly that there is only one judge and one lawmaker. And I follow the path of Jesus and how he would handle people. And he was there for the sick. He wasn't with the healthy. Do you understand what I'm saying? So we all need to take that into account when we are trying to reach out. As far as me, I've dealt with pretty much depression my whole entire life. I don't know about you guys, and Tammy or Gina or somebody in the comments can relate to this. I have mental illness on both sides of my family. Pretty much everyone in my family has suffered from depression on my mother's side. I actually have an uncle who is bipolar schizophrenic. He is permanently in a group home, which has been hard on all of us. And then on my father's side, my father is, he has OCD and he is bipolar. And then I continue on in that side of the family. They have a bunch of bipolar diagnosis. So, mental illness runs deep, far, and wide in my family. When I was younger, I was a cutter. I don't really share that a lot. I went through a really dark time in my life. I think a lot of it had to do with feeling insignificant in my life. I didn't feel important growing up. I didn't, I've talked about this previously before. My family, sometimes we get in this idea that your family is going to be your biggest supporter, and they're actually the complete opposite. And it messes with your mind a lot because you think, well, this is my family. Like they should support, love, and encourage me no matter what. So I dealt with that when I was younger. I was in an abusive relationship, which I shared last blab about domestic violence. I was in an abusive relationship for 6 years, and which brought on my, I say chronic anxiety. I'm a very nervous person. I also have OCD, which I'm dealing with in my own way. This is going to be very controversial, what I'm going to say. I'm going to go ahead and give my own disclaimer. This is my own opinion and this is my own self. And so I am not forcing my views on anyone. I am okay with whatever you do is your choice. I'm not your judger. I have been in therapy before. I have chose to deal with my depression and my anxiety in a different way. It's not conventional to most people. Well, I would say it is, but to most people, they wouldn't think to deal with it in this way. I have gotten better through my salvation. I was saved, and I am getting better through the Lord and realizing my significance in His kingdom, and learning my identity through Him and how He sees me, and that's helping me. I still have dealt with my anxiety. I do not take medication. I am not for or against medication. I feel like you do whatever works for you, because I don't want to offend anybody. Seriously, I love everyone. If it works for you and it's helping you in life, it's your quality of life. That's what I firmly believe. But for me, because I have dealt with a lot of mental illness in my life, I've seen people abuse their medication and not take it properly and become very nasty people. And it's made me fearful of medication. That's just my honest opinion. I feel like nowadays you can go to a doctor and say, here's some Xanax. And that's how I feel. You know what I'm saying? I'm serious. And I am scared to be on medication. So listen, that's what I'm saying. I know a lot of people are going to be like, listen, if you take medication and it's helping you, God bless you for that. And I'm glad. That's my personal choice. I've chosen not to do that because I'm fearful of it. But medication can really do you a lot of good as long as it's monitored in the correct way. My father, for instance, is not doing so well on his medication. So it makes me anxious. And I'm sorry, what?
Oh, I was just saying it also makes you leery, but you said the same thing at the same time.
But like I said, medication can be, crucial to your way of life. My uncle, he's bipolar schizophrenic. He can't live without his medicine. He needs it to survive. I think a lot of times, for me, in my experience with people, they become so dependent on their medication, but just because you're taking medication doesn't solve your entire problem. So like Gina said, you need the therapy. You've got to work through it. There's no pill in this entire world that's going to fix you. You've got to work on your perception of yourself and your identity. Like, you've got to work on those things. You have to. And you cannot cut yourself off from the world. You can't. Like Tammy said, you've got to find at least one person in this world. There's one person, at least one person for everyone, that will be there for you. And, you got to do the work, though. You can't just pop a magic pill and then, you might feel better, but you've got to do the work. You know what I mean? I don't know how you guys feel about that. I mean,
Yes, I totally agree.
did suffer from postpartum as well. I could probably go to the doctor right now and he'd probably list. If I told him what was it, he'd probably list. You know what? Funny story real quick, because we're all serious. I just got to tell you guys this because I can laugh at myself. So I took my son, my oldest son has Asperger's. I took him to a specialist, okay? 2 doctors that were specialists. They'll spend all day with you. They'll write this wonderful treatment plan for your child. And I actually was told by them that I needed Lexapro. They said, we think you might need some medication. I was like, dang, you bad when your kid's doctor's like, you might need to take something for that. Oh, man, that was bad. But hey,
I think that there's also doctors you have to be leery of. They're too quick. And this is my personal opinion, y'all. My personal opinion. They're too quick to throw medication at it versus to actually talk to a patient about their problem. So that's why I'm saying, when I say talk to your primary care physician, I mean talk to them. Let them know, explain to them, hey, I need you to hear me because something's not right. So I just wanted to put that out there too, because some of them are way too quick to throw the meds at you.
Money, guys.
Yep.
I'm just going to say this. Like I said, there are times when medication is like absolutely necessary. Okay. I've been fortunate enough. Like I've looked at my husband before, and I've told him, because I suffered with postpartum along with my anxiety and my OCD when my daughter, it was very much so triggered. I went through like this couple year period where I was really well in my life. I did really well. And then once I had a baby, I like lost my mind. Like I was like, I can't do this. I'm going nuts. I couldn't keep up. My daughter would cry constantly. You understand what I'm saying? I'd have to call my husband at work and be like, you're going to have to come home. You're going to have to come home because I can't listen to it anymore. Thankfully, my husband was that rock for me. And when I told him I had enough, he was able to give me a break. You know what I mean? I know not everybody's as fortunate in that way, but I'm very blessed by that. And my husband puts up with me a lot. Does. Even my mom says, I don't know how you deal with her. Because if I have to take a medicine or something, my OCD will kick in and I'll say, how many times does the pill say I have to take it? He'll say 3 times twice daily. And I'll read it to him and he has to say specific words in order for me to feel comfortable. It's not fun. And that's why I agree with you 100%, Gina. Like, it's not a joke. I've been made fun of by my family members for my anxiety. It's not funny. I don't think anybody wakes up at all during the day and says, here, I would like to have a panic attack. I would like to want to die today. That's how I want to feel today. But
never had a panic attack, but I've seen people have them, and I can't imagine anybody wants to feel that or go through it.
Exactly.
It's the same expression.
It amazes me when people say that. That's why, Gina, I was so glad that you brought that up, because it's true. Like, people are like, oh, just, chill out or whatever. Dude, if I could just chill out, if I could teach that, if I could figure out a way to honestly do that and then package that and sell that, I'd be a millionaire. You know what I'm saying? It's like, come on.
Exactly.
I seriously get so angry when people say that, because it's not something that you would choose for yourself or for your child. I know I wouldn't choose it for anyone. You know what I mean? I don't even know, guys. This makes me so mad. Let me take a drink. So mad, dude.
All right, so I have 2 things that I definitely want to get out there, and I'm also going to type it in the chat. So I am going to move my camera for a moment after I give this information. Suicide is nothing to joke about, and I know that we have said in the past and on previous blabs, we've given the information for suicide awareness and the phone numbers. I want to put that phone number out here again today. It's 1-800-273-TALK. So that's 1-800-273-8255.
No, you're good.
Can you hear me, or did I forget to hold this up?
Actually, drop it now, because it's better if you don't have it on.
There is a phone line. Okay. There is also a phone line that I have been aware of since I was a teenager, and it is called Teen Line. This is special for teenagers. There are other teenagers that work the line to try to help support each other. The phone number is 1-800-852-8336. It's TLC Teen. 1-800-852-8336. So I just wanted to make sure that we put that out there.
Also, Tammy, to go along with what you're saying, I just want to, again, these are from the National Institute of Mental Health Symptoms. They're not something that I made up. I did look this up. These are some warning signs for suicide with depression, it says. Suicide with depression. So a sudden switch from being very sad to very calm or appearing to be happy. So if you know someone who's very manic and they're upset all the time, and then all of a sudden they become calm instantly, that's a warning sign, okay? Because that's abnormal, right? It says always talking or thinking about death is another key. Clinical depression, deep sadness, loss of interest, trouble sleeping and eating, and it gets worse. It gets worse, okay? Having a death wish or tempting fate by taking risks that could lead to death, such as driving through red lights and things like that. So they're really starting to put their lives in danger, almost like asking for death. Making comments about being hopeless, helpless, or worthless. They start to put their affairs in order, right? They're tying up loose ends. They're changing their will, saying things like, it would be better if I wasn't here, or I want to die, okay? Talking about suicide. So they start to talk about killing themselves. So remember, if you know someone that is demonstrating any of the above warning signs of suicide with depression or just suicide in general, dude, okay? Because I don't like the way that's worded for some reason. It sounds weird. Make sure that you reach out, be a voice. Don't be afraid to reach out and save a life. Sometimes I think in society we've gotten into this mentality where we mind our own business. Yeah, you should mind your own business, but when you see something like that, you have an obligation. You have an obligation to step up and say and help that person. And I know that's because by you not saying something can lead potentially to a death, and then you're going to have that guilt. And I don't want to put that on anyone, but seriously, we talked about this on the last blab, Tammy. You know what I'm saying? If you see a guy beating his wife, you're not just going to stand there. Help her out, man. Don't just stand there. Yeah, whatever you got to do.
A rock. Hit him with it.
Man. I'm going to knock somebody out.
Call
me and my broke back.
Right. You know what? And that person might get mad at you at first for, maybe they're like, oh, you're crossing a line or whatever. Oh, well, man, I loved you enough to step up and say something. You know what I'm saying? That's the way I see it. And again,
Absolutely.
it's about acceptance, right? So again, for me personally, I accept everyone. You know what I mean? I'm not going to judge anyone. And if I see someone in need, I'm going to step up. I'm going to step up because I feel like that's my calling. Go for it, Tammy. I see you.
I just want to say that I've seen the chat go really, 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 really fast. There's been some really amazing stuff in there. And the one thing I want to point out is some people are using their art as ways to be therapy. Even Jess, I know, loves to do that to calm herself down to colors, which I love.
Me too, girl. Me too.
But I think that that's a great thing to point out is there's things that you can learn to do that you already love to do that can be your therapy. Some people sing, some people listen to music, some people, there are things that you can do. And I think that that's great. And I just feel really bad that we didn't address all of the comments. Know that we will probably go back through and read them and that we love you.
Usually,
and we're not ignoring
I'm going to try to start paying attention a little bit more. But yeah, I can't say this enough. There's always hope. I know when you're depressed that you feel hopeless and you feel like, there's no way out. There is a way out. Look, however you choose to deal with it, through medication, meditation, whatever your belief is. For me, I got my salvation through the Lord. I'm really focusing right now on my self-growth because I think that's really important to learn who you are. For me, I'm learning who I am in the eyes of my King, right? My Lord. And he says I'm a princess. I am royalty. And when I say that, it might sound a little cheesy to people, but when I say it, it actually really makes me feel good because it's like, yeah, you know what? I am royalty. So I'm really focusing. That's why I love Stephanie's challenge that we're doing in Topic Mamas with Stephanie Cosby, the #LoveMe challenge. I said that right, Tammy, right? Okay. I get scared. I really love that because I really think that we've all got to take the time to really start focusing on who we are. So if you're not a believer, that's okay. Whatever is going to work for you, honestly. I think that's what's important.
Can I say that I love the phrase that Cindy just used? Cindy Fincher, you are my hero. Once again, the season of struggle.
Yeah.
That's something that a lot of teenagers go through, and that's a great thing to call it, the season of struggle. And I think that really, in itself, touches home. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Oh, thank you, Dr. Perez. He said that great broadcast for anyone that's listening. I really appreciate that. That means a lot to me and Tammy both. I know that. We worked really hard.
Thank you.
Yeah. We try to keep the cat mask people off. Sorry. Totally inappropriate. I'm sorry.
Meow.
Things just got weird.
Oh, man. Silence for anyone.
God helped me with my mental health issues too. But everyone needs to find their own way to deal. Yes, 100%. Yeah. I'm not even going to go anywhere with that. I'm just going to say, yeah.
Now, I wanted to say to Naomi that I have been in her shoes with trying to get my child to take his medications, and it is a nightmare, and you spend most of your time crying and sobbing and praying to God that your child will make it through another day. I don't have any good advice for you to help her, for you to help her encourage to take her medicine and to do the counseling and to do what she needs to do to get better. Just love her. Just every time you can, just tell her you love her.
Naomi,
and I'm so sorry you're going through that.
He is bipolar schizophrenic, and he goes through spurts where he starts taking his medication. I don't know if Naomi's daughter's going through this, but you go through spouts where you start taking your medication and you feel better. You're like, hey, I got this. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling better. I don't need my medication anymore, right? That's what my uncle does. And then he comes off of it and it's horrible, absolutely horrible. So, yeah, I go along with Gina like that. I've seen that in my uncle a lot. He goes through these spouts where he feels like he's better, and then he's not. And that's the other, another ugly side of depression and the tricks that it can play on you. Really, it is, because you can feel better even when you're really not. So, yeah.
And that's what good coping mechanisms is basically. That's what you need to go to therapy for, is to get those coping mechanisms, to learn what you need to do to help you get through how to retrack your life. Since your chemicals are imbalanced, you've got to learn to live life a little differently than others. And that's, you've got to accept that and do it. And that comes with maturity. You know, teenagers, they don't want to be seen as different. They want to fit in. They want to be the same. And
I know I did when I was younger. I thought I knew everything. You know what I mean? And so all you can do is make sure that they're safe. Then, you know, I see some comments going on about medication, and I just want to say again, you know, you do what works for you. Whether you know you need medication or you don't. There's lots of other avenues.
I think that was a totally different conversation, honey.
Oh,
I think so. They're talking about kids using.
I kind of half read it, but thanks, Tammy, because I'm trying so hard to read it, and I see, Tammy, I'm leaving that to you. I can't do the chat. No, seriously, thank you, because I don't want to go on a tangent about something that's, you know, what am I talking about?
I didn't want you to continue what you were saying. It comes away.
Yeah, totally. Oops.
Yes, the comments are going very fast tonight. I'm having a hard time myself with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to look and read, and it's too much for my mind.
I know that you spoke about somebody potentially joining us. Do you want me to open the seat?
Yeah, if you if you want to turn off the recording. Okay, I just want to go ahead and say this. So we're going to open up the seats or the next seat. I don't know, Gina, if you want to stay on, you're more than welcome to stay on. It's totally up to you. However you want to go, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say it nicely. We're going to open the seat. Please, if you're going to take this seat, have something to offer about the topic of discussion. Okay. So we are talking mental health and depression. So please, if you have something to share, please join us. If you're going to talk about your own causes and your business and whatever have you, I'm going to tell you that I'm going to kick you out. So don't come on with your cat mask or any weirdness or anything like that. I'm just, no pimp marketing. Don't come on about your business. It's fine. But I'm going to go ahead and give that disclaimer right here. There you go.
Pimping it easy.
As long as you're maybe if you're talking about depression and you have a cat mask, I might be okay with that. So, if anybody I'm sorry, you guys, like for real, why somebody's joining in, listen, Blab is weird, you guys. Like I'm serious. I've gotten pictures of like people with cat masks on. I don't understand like what's going on with that. So,
Oh.
yeah. Oh, Dr. Will, yay!
Hey, listen,
Oh,
I
Dr.
just want to
Will.
say, you guys are doing a great job. I am a mental health professional, and believe me, I don't look like this in my office. And and also a professor of psychology. And I say that you guys are doing such a great job. Thank you for
Thank
doing
you.
this. Also, I just want to say one thing, and then I will leave you because my phone is about to die. Uh, the issue is make sure that you know that your therapist, counselor, is prepared, trained, and experienced in dealing with the issues that you need to deal with. Not everyone can deal with
Yeah.
depression, and not everyone can deal with certain issues as well. And besides, there are many approaches to psychotherapy. There's an issue with personality disorders that come into place as a secondary diagnosis that comes along with depression. Take it seriously. Definitely, suicide is a very important issue to discuss in an open forum like you ladies have. All right.
Thank you
So,
so much
anyways,
for that.
I'm not gonna take much of your
Thank
time.
you.
My phone is about to die,
We
and thank you so
appreciate you
much.
so much, Dr. Will.
I will follow. I will follow you, ladies. Okay.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very
Thank
much. I appreciate
you.
your efforts. All right.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
All
Bye.
right. Have a good night.
Bye.
Sorry, I'm reading the chat. Jeanette! Woohoo! This is Jeanette's first time on Blab, you guys.
And I
Whoop,
never
whoop.
paused it. I
That's
never
okay.
stopped it.
This is good. Maybe my disclaimer is
It's gonna work out.
hopefully, yes.
Oh, just sobbing.
Yeah. Let's see.
Bum, bum,
See if it's
bum,
come
bum,
on. I don't know
bum,
if it's gonna
bum.
work for you, Jeanette. I don't know.
I'm still giving her some feels.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I'm always gonna call them
I
feels.
know, man. It comes up prop at the bottom. I'm like, no, they're feels. So I don't know, Tammy.
Fill
Hey,
me up,
Jeanette,
baby.
I'm pretty sure that you can still hear us. I was gonna ask Tammy if maybe she can bump you and maybe you can try again or something. I don't know.
I love you, Jeanette, but I'm bumping you for now.
Sorry, Jeanette. Try again. Oh, we got a lot of people coming. Oh man.
Hey, I just wanted to say something real quick, and I'll let someone else have a turn. That's Rigby. I'm doing my Bible study on the floor, so he's just sitting on my back. But one thing I wanted to say about anxiety that I didn't understand for a long time is sometimes I would be sitting down, and I know Jessica has witnessed it, and nothing will be bothering me, but all of a sudden I don't realize that in my head that I'm thinking about a million things, and I'll start to get like a tingly feeling up my arm. And then what happens is I focus on that tingly feeling, and then my heart starts pumping, and then I think that I'm having a heart attack, and then I start to panic. And I think that it's my brain. I can't focus. And I think that, I mean, I've even told a doctor before, and thank God he was sweet, but I thought I had a brain tumor. I mean, I thought something was seriously wrong with me, because what we don't realize about anxiety is these things are very physical things that happen to your body. And so you don't want to believe it when my mom would just say, you're just having anxiety. I would cry and tell my mother, no, I think something's wrong with my brain. I think something's wrong with my heart. I think something's physically wrong with me. And, no matter what she said to try to convince me, even when I asked the doctor if I had a brain tumor, and he reassured me if I was having those symptoms so long that my tumor would be the size
Right.
of Texas by
Oh,
now.
I think she froze.
Sorry about that. I'm still here.
Okay.
But I just wanted to let you guys know that, just in case you think, what can't be anxiety, or, sometimes it is like that. And I know that Jessica told me, and sometimes it's a relief to hear it, because when I thought the tingling was like a serious issue, that it had to be heart issues, and then Jessica had told me, like, yeah, I get that too. sometimes just talking to other people with anxiety to reassure you, sometimes just a doctor telling you, hey, you don't have a brain tumor, you have anxiety.
I got something for you, October, to promote that calmness. You remember that?
Right. And then the last thing is sometimes be open to try things. Like my doctor, when I went in there, he tried to prescribe me something to relax me during my panic attacks. And he looked at me and said, I know that you're going to read the back of the bottle and throw it away. And I went home and read the back of the bottle and threw it away because it got me too anxious to take it. So just know that, because I mean, anxiety affects my daily life. It makes everything hard for me to do. So it might be something, he's mad because I'm not paying attention to him, but it might be something that you want to look into if it's affecting your daily life. So
thank you,
that's
October.
all I want to say. And thanks, guys.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Poor Mr. Rigby.
Hold on, wait. Do I exit out? Okay.
Might have to bump her, Tammy.
She left.
Do what?
Next.
Ah, Grace.
I said next.
Grace in the house.
Next.
Yeah, I was telling October while Grace is coming in.
Why
I
does it
get
go
that
down?
same thing. Hey, Grace.
Hey, why does the volume kind of go down?
What?
I don't know. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay. I just was coming on to just really quick. One of the things that I have implemented, just aside from like, because I'm an all natural chick, but I want to go ahead and say that aside from medications and everything, a good thing that you can do, just start at any point of the day, try and be still. And I do meditations, and which really helps. Is not, something that's not medicated, because medication might not always be needed. And one of those things that can help is meditation. Just by being still for 5 to 10 minutes a day can really help you clear your mind. You go behind your mind, you go behind all your thoughts, and you just notice how those thoughts, they dissipate and they disappear, and all is right with the world. That's just one of the little tips that I could wanted to go ahead and share, because I actually follow someone on Periscope. She does meditation scopes, and it's very powerful, very, very powerful. Just something 5 to 10 minutes a day that you can. I didn't hear you. It's saying do you want?
Kind of.
I guess it's a notification up here, and okay.
Oh,
but like meditation. Her name is Oshulande, and she's on Periscope, and but she's been out for a while because her mom is sick. Her mom has cancer, and so she's been with her mom a lot. So, just recently, she hasn't been broadcasting. So I'm assuming that's why she hasn't been broadcasting. So, when she jumps back on, which she does normally 4 or 5 times out of the week, and in the mornings, and I used to always catch them and out, but a lot of her scopes are on catch, so you can catch them on catch, those meditations, in order for you to get that time out for yourself. So that's all I wanted to say. I got to get into bed.
Kind of reset.
Grace, that's awesome.
All right, y'all have a good night.
You too. That's awesome advice. Being still, yes.
Good night.
Bye. Bye. Oh, sweet boy.
Bye.
Sweet. Grace is like, I can't get out. I'm getting out.
Oh, help me.
JoJo is so sweet. Is that her son's name, JoJo? I can never remember. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it's Jolene Jr.
Jolene, that's cute. Anyone else before we? Just as long as you're going to talk depression, we've had a lot of great people jump in. Is there anything else, you guys? Joel Jr. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Anybody else want to come on? Amy, Busy Boy Brigade? Hint, hint. Anybody?
Come talk to us.
Amy? I'm trying to get Amy up in here. I don't know if she'll come on. She'll probably be like, no, Jessica, I don't want to come on. I love Amy. So, Lori, anybody? No one else? I don't want anyone to feel like we just jumped off and didn't give an ample amount of time for someone to come on. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, no.
Everybody's Oh, Cindy Fisher!
Is Cindy Fisher coming on? Oh, let's go, Baby!
Yay! I want the same thing as Cindy Fisher.
I've got like headphones on. Can you hear me?
Yes!
Everybody smile. I'm going to take a screenshot.
Okay. I look terrible. I was like feeling crummy at school today.
No.
But
Aw.
so I'm sitting on my couch. But anyways, I'm gonna take these out. I don't like these. Taking those out. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna
Yes, ma'am.
just a second. I don't like doing it with the headphones on. It's weird. Just a second.
So, really
Turning on
quick,
my pictures on my
while
computer.
Cindy's doing her
Weird that
stuff, I
way.
just want to tell you guys we're all freaking out right now because we absolutely love Cindy Fincher. We love her. And
You guys are so funny to crack me up. I'm gonna go in my office too.
But she's on Periscope, you guys. You see her handle at Cindy_Fincher. Cindy is amazing, right,
What?
Tammy? Like,
She's the woman.
I agree. Cindy. Oh, I don't know what
In a little bit. There's my daughter. She's like watching, and she's out. She's watching TV. And took
Hi,
something
daughter.
today And asked me, "Mom, can I help her with her history?"
we're getting Cindy Fincher
Cover your
tour.
I'll show it to you. I'm gonna go in the office so I can be less distracted.
Hey, Cindy, is that your daughter that scopes with you sometimes?
No, that's my other one.
Okay.
I
Because
have
you have
3
beautiful
daughters.
girls.
She has.
And that's
yeah.
my 17-year-old daughter. But I just wanted to say that, especially you guys, if you have teenagers. So my daughter went through a season. And it was my oldest. And I kind of mentioned that on the, in the comments. But I want to say that oftentimes we think our kids are okay, and they may not be okay. And meaning, like, my daughter was in a private school. She's smart. She was like on the praise team at church. She's really pretty, And she went through a season where she was struggling and did not really tell us how bad it was. Because I think there's a lot of shame that goes along with depression and anxiety. And, and our kids don't want to, they're afraid to burden us sometimes too. And they're afraid, they're already dealing with rejection. She was dealing with a lot of social rejection at school. And it wasn't until she got out of high school that I realized how bad it was. And so I would encourage you guys to really not hound your kids, because you don't want to hound your kids, particularly teenagers.
Right.
Always try to encourage a safe place for them to talk.
Right.
That means, as a parent, don't react.
Yes.
Right, Gina? You probably had to learn how to do this with your son.
Yes,
To be a
ma'am.
non-reactive parent, to be a non-dismissive parent. Because I look back now, there were times when she would share about, little things that she was struggling with. But it was like she said later, she goes, I wanted to be mature enough and handle it on my own. But the truth was she couldn't. She really couldn't.
Right.
And sometimes as parents, and during that time in our lives, my husband's and my life, we were struggling financially and struggling with a lot of things in our own home. And a lot of times when we as parents are going through things, even though we're not telling our kids all of the stuff that's going on, they feel it, they sense it, and they feel like, well, I don't want to put something else on my mom and dad, or I don't want to put something else on my mom. She's already stressed out enough. So I would really encourage those of you who have teenagers, because it's so difficult from that 11 all the way up through the teenage years. Difficult times, right? I mean, think about it. As adults, we can look back and think about how difficult it was for us as teenagers. It's no different for our kids. Right. And to just be aware and be accepting and be willing to hear the hard things and not freak out. That's That's the biggest thing, because I'll just
Yes.
tell you, in the beginning when she started talking about it, it was her senior year. She was going through some stuff. There were times I freaked out. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to lie. And I would lose it, meaning like, oh my gosh, you've got to be kidding me. And then she would start reacting to my reaction and, you know, it become more rebellious. Maybe you experienced some of that too, Gina, you know, become more resistant to change and shutting down even more. So you guys provide a safe space. Don't dismiss when your kids are saying they're struggling. And also, but don't panic. Don't panic. And I'm with Jess. And I will say this outwardly. It's because of the Lord. It is God's grace on my life and my husband's life and my daughter's life that she is where she's at today. Right. Because it was such a dark time for her. And I am so grateful to God because we tucked into him and who he was and began to listen to what he wanted us to do, to not panic, to keep loving her, but being strong also, not just letting her get away with whatever she wanted. And it slowly has brought her back into a good place. And she's doing really good right now. But so yeah, so if anybody's in here with teenagers, don't dismiss it, number one. And number two, really listen to them. And number three, don't panic. Don't panic.
I'm actually hitting that weird stage right now. My son just turned 12.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Yeah. We're getting there. And with the Asperger's and stuff like that, it's hard.
And I'm naturally a histrionic type person. Just woo-ha! Very ADD, very woo. And it was a challenge for me to rein all that back, because I did have to learn that with my son. I had to rein all that back and then not react, because we would feed off of each other bad. We'd start out talking to each other, and then it'd be like, what? And it turned into big fights, huge.
Mm-hmm.
It escalated in nothing flat. And he's 6'6" and 230 pounds. And so the more scared I would get, and the other stuff would trigger in my mind from my past experiences, one of which was through his daddy, who he happened to look like. I would have to stop and I'd have to stop and physically tell myself, this is Alan.
Yes.
This is my son. This is my son.
Yeah, I bet that was 10 times harder for you. I know it was hard for me, and I didn't have all that history going on, you know, and stuff going on in the background.
This is key. I would.
Uh-oh. Is Gina frozen? Okay, you're good now, I think. I don't know if anybody saw that for a second.
Sorry.
What?
I keep seeing Gina going back and forth from audio to video.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, my internet must be.
Yeah, I said low internet or something.
But I have to say,
go ahead.
I agree with Cindy. Having been through it with my own teenage daughter, they definitely go through the season. You have to be aware. And I wish that someone would have said to me then what Cindy just said now, because you are quick to dismiss. You are quick to jump at them and disagree with what they have to say. You don't take a second to step back. And I have to say, I'm going to agree with Cindy Fincher, and not like people don't already know that I agree with Cindy Fincher, but I'm going to have to say,
she's a woman.
Do that. Please give your children the opportunity to talk to you without dismissing them, especially if they're coming to you.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, because I think we're so quick because we don't want them to hurt. We don't want them to suffer. And we're like, oh, don't feel that way. You know what I mean? Why are you feeling that way? Especially when you've dealt with those issues before. You're like, oh, no, you're kind of freaking out. And then you start the whole, maybe I did something wrong. You know what I mean?
And then that is the thing, Jess, because guilt. I think the condemnation comes as a parent. You start feeling like, I'm a bad parent. I didn't take care of them. I didn't do this for them. I didn't do that for them. And really, that place is a place of fear. And whenever you're doing things out of fear, this is what I've learned. when you are talking out of fear, making decisions out of fear, disciplining out of fear, it's like always a loser situation, whether it's fear for myself or fear that I was a bad parent, fear for them because of the decisions they're making. It's always bad. It's like it does not end good.
Yeah, no,
I've been there. It does not end good.
Yes.
But what you were saying about being patient and the acceptance and all that, that can be applied not only to a child, but for just people in general.
Absolutely.
You know, a lot of times we have to remember to be, you know, cautious, humble, and gracious, and the fact that we don't know what all someone's going through, right?
Exactly.
And a lot of times people are only going to tell you the surface. They're not going to tell you all of what's underneath, because we don't want anybody looking at us and thinking that we're crazy. Yeah, I mean, honestly, you know what I mean? Like, not to be insensitive or anything, but we don't want people to see us in that light, because we don't like even to see ourselves in that. So I think all of what you said about even with teenagers can be applied to adults as well.
Absolutely.
I know that's something that I'm working on, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But I will say this, and I will say this only because out of experience, because I know we're going to wrap it up here soon. Just because you have a mental illness or you're suffering from depression doesn't give you an excuse. You don't get a free pass to treat people like crap or not do your duties. I will tell you this from experience. My dad, he's severe bipolar. I don't even know all the technical stuff. He's bipolar and OCD, and he used to use his depression, his mental illness, as an excuse for his behavior. And once you can't do that. You have to take ownership. And that's really the first step, right? They say it in AA meetings. They say it everywhere. The first step is admission. You've got to admit that you have a problem. And then once you admit that you have a problem, you no longer get a free pass. Now, you might not know what to do, right? Or where to go, right? And I get that. But that doesn't give you a right. Well, because I also have a friend that's like, well, you know, I'm this, so you know that's why I do what I do. No. We all
do they actually say that? Like, do they actually say that to you, Jess?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And then my dad used to tell me that, you know, I'd forget to call you or I'd forget to do this because, you know, I'm sick. I'm bipolar. That doesn't have anything to do with memory loss. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, you can't. Crappy parent is not listed in the symptom of bipolar. Crappy friend is not listed in bipolar. You know what I mean? Seriously, and I want to say that because I think, you know, you can't excuse all your behavior. You know, it's not an excuse to just act like a crazy person. Like, oh, I get to do whatever I want because I'm depressed and you know.
Right.
That drives me nuts with people. I have a real problem with that. I have like a real issue, and that stems from childhood, just making excuses for your behavior. You know, at some point you got to take ownership in that. You know, and once you do that, especially if you're suffering in that way, you'll start to get better. I had to do it for myself. I realized I'm not doing okay. I'm suffering. I got to get my stuff together. You know what I mean? I can't do this anymore. Yeah.
What do you think? So, like, Jess, when you did make that decision, were you scared though? Because I think sometimes I think about this when people like get in that cycle where they say I'm going to do better and they don't, and they're going to do better and they don't, and they keep going in this cycle. Did you sometimes feel like, okay, I'm going to fail again, and so why even try? Did you ever feel like that sometimes?
I did for a long time, and I really don't want to turn it into all this because I want to respect all avenues, but this is my personal experience. I think when you're going through that and you're afraid of the failure, you're not really ready to change. I mean, you're not really ready. It's kind of the only thing. I know this is so ridiculous and probably shouldn't be compared to this at all, but this is all I've got here, okay? So I compare it to like smoking cigarettes almost. It's like an addiction. Change is like a hard thing. I'm not talking about depression and the cigarette. I'm talking about the change of letting something go.
The idea of changing,
Yes, the habit. So let me be clear to that. So when you finally make that ultimate choice to change, that's when true change will occur. I think this time it was different for me because this is just my personal experience. I found the Lord. I
Right.
realized that He loves me and He created me and He knows all parts of me in and out. And I learned what true repentance was and forgiveness. And once we are forgiven, we're washed clean. We're new. And so it's not that He excuses our behavior or we get to continue to misbehave, but I just found peace. That was for me. A lot of my issues was feeling insignificant. That's what led to my depression and so what and so what. You know what I'm saying? But for me, once I found true acceptance and I realized that I wasn't going to really get that from a human, I needed some other place. And for me, it was a spiritual thing that changed.
Right.
I know that's not the case for everyone, but for me, that's what happened. And that's why I think I was able, because I knew I had the ultimate person rooting on my team. So if I failed, it was okay. I'm allowed to fail. I don't have to be perfect. I was accepted for who I was, and that's it. And that's what I try to give to other people is really true acceptance for them to be free of who they are. And if we really all treated each other like that, I mean, I know this is really cliche, the world would be such a better place.
It's for real. Hey, Jess, I want to say that I made a funny face while you were talking, but that's because it sounded like
I thought it was
flying through somewhere. It was weird.
I thought
So
it was Tammy's guy with his boombox right down the road.
Well, I'll go. So if someone else wants to come on, they can.
I missed this. What is this with me lately with this bowing thing and that? I don't know. Whatever, you guys.
Well, we're going to wrap it up, actually. So the seat's going to be locked.
Okay.
So I want to thank all of you for sharing your stories with us tonight, because some of you have been sharing a lot of things that have not actually been addressed. I apologize for that. It has been... My husband came into the room and distracted me. It has been an amazing blab, and I hope that one, if not all of you, took some information from it that can help you or someone you know. I did post those numbers in the chat earlier, but I will go ahead and give you the two numbers again real quick. Suicide prevention is 800-273-8255, and Teen Line is 800-852-8336. So thank you. You, ladies and gentlemen, are amazing.
Find us on Facebook, guys. I think I still got it here. Let me throw it up. I do. Find me and Tammy on Facebook and Topic Mamas. We appreciate all you guys' support. If I'm just going to throw this out here really quick, Tammy, and I know you got to go. I got to go too. I got to get kids into bed. Find us on Facebook. If you're interested in being on the blab with me and Tammy, contact either one of us, or better yet, go to that Facebook group. Also, guess what? Me and Tammy set it up. We've got topicmamas@gmail.com. So if you want to be a host, you can email us. Also, Tammy set up the Instagram and Twitter. So we are now across all social media. Topic Mamas. You do not have to be a mama to be a part of the group, or a woman. You could be man or woman. It's just Topic Mamas, because what me and Tammy is mamas, and we talk about the topics. We got to get Stephanie to write us a song, man. For real.
Hot Topic Mamas.
Get on that, Stephanie.
I like Tammy's coffee chat song, man. That was awesome.
Me too.
That was awesome.
I also want to thank Gina. Gina, thank you so much for sharing your stories with us. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule to share that with us. Both your stories and your sons, I can't imagine were easy to share. So again, thank you. Jess, thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you, Tammy. Find me and Tammy on Periscope. Our handles are the same, @We3Levers and Jess42508. And Gina, if she ever scopes again, that's Gina right there.
That's right.
Do it, Gina.
I may do it, baby. Oh, and if y'all are a guest on this here Hot Topic Mamas, they treat you good. I've been a nervous damn wreck all day, like almost having the diarrhea nervous.
Thank you for that.
And they have been so good to me.
Said that.
I
still had it recording.
I just want to be known forever as the diarrhea.
No one had a cat bath, so we're all good. I see your husband's on. All right, guys, I hope you have a great night. I am signing off.